sometimes the loudest voice in our head isn't truth. It's just the one that we've heard the longest. Hello, friends, and welcome back to The Free Advantage, brought to you by The Risky Path. I'm Heather Davis, and I want to invite you to join me each week as we explore self-discovery, authenticity, and the journey to recovering a life of freedom. This podcast is about sharing and exploring impactful experiences that we all share in a relatable and digestible way. With so much information out there, it can be overwhelming to take it all in. And here, I want to give you small bites that you can take back into your week and integrate into your daily life. Welcome back, everyone. I am so glad you are here with me today as we continue on in our Holy Living series, A Journey to Your Authentic Reveal. Over the past couple of weeks, we have been exploring what it looks like to reconnect with our bodies and our hearts. And as we dive in today, we will be exploring the third pillar in living whole, our thoughts, our patterns, and what it really means to be whole-minded. Living in today's world, staying clear-headed and working through our well-trained and conditioned brain and getting a hold of our mindset is no easy feat. We fill our minds with the news, the gossip of others, and endless scrolling. Whether our feeds are full of junk or educational or inspirational things, we are still filling our minds with others' thoughts, ideas, judgments, and other people's lives. How often do we stop, get quiet with ourselves, and examine the things that we hear and see? How often do we explore our truth, our beliefs, and our own minds? Our mind, a God-given gift to think freely for ourselves, to know and understand, to discern and create our very own world, is a very precious gift indeed. Our minds are full of input every single day, from the time we wake up until the time we go to bed. And we leave very little room for the space our minds need to breathe and think on their own. It's like an overcrowded room full of people. We enter, but become very easily overstimulated and overwhelmed. We bump into others, the noise becomes too loud, we can't think. We begin to feel claustrophobic and we feel like we can't breathe. And all of our instincts tell us to get out of there. Our minds are no different. When we overcrowd them, they become overstimulated, overwhelmed, and start to shut down. Whole-minded isn't about keeping our minds full. It's about us becoming mindful. Most of us do not spend a lot of time focused on what or how to think. We just let the thoughts in and let them wander around as they please. We let every whim, every influence, and every impulse guide us in how we view and navigate our world. But this is how we become mentally fragmented. When our minds become fragmented, it can look a lot like second-guessing ourselves constantly, seeking constant opinions or advice from others. Or it can look like absorbing everyone else's opinion as truth, instead of seeking our own from within, whether that's from family, friends, TV, or social media. It can also look like believing our thoughts are facts instead of information. And last but not least, focus and follow through can become a struggle, and we can find ourselves moving on to new things all the time with no real outcome. Living with a fragmented mind leaves us living as a remnant of ourselves, unable to be whole. In order for us to bring our minds back to wholeness, we must understand that we have to start questioning our thoughts, discern the origin of a belief, and challenge internalized voices that aren't even ours. To live whole-minded is to live aware and to be mindful. For me, being mindful means a perpetual state of not only awareness, but of concentration on our thoughts and how we interact with them. Our mindset isn't just what we think. It's how we think. And when our thoughts go unchecked, they become patterns. And those patterns become beliefs. And those beliefs, well, they shape our whole life. Our mindset isn't fixed, it's formed, which means it can be reformed. What you believe about yourself, about the world, about what's possible, it can all change if you're willing to challenge it. It is so easy for us to get pulled and sucked into the world and its verbose, overbearing communication. But it takes an awake and conscious mind not to live on autopilot. Learning how to sidestep distractions and accept the challenge of mindfulness can be difficult. But we all have to start somewhere. We don't just wake up and miraculously have a new mindset and be all aware. It takes time. It takes practice. It takes concentration. I want to share with you how I started, how I began to shut out the noise and bring awareness back to my thoughts. A few years ago, back in 2018, I started a practice that some of you may know. I found a wonderful writer and creative artist named Julia Cameron. She is the author of The Artist's Way, and she introduced me to a tool that changed everything, something called morning pages. She taught me the practice and the importance of morning pages and how they help to quiet the mind and prepare it for the day that lies ahead. Morning pages are 3 pages of stream of conscious writing. First thing when you wake up in the morning, before you scroll, before you pick up a book, before you interact with anyone else in the world, you sit to write 3 pages. And I know some of you listening may be, I don't like to write, or think, that's not my thing. And while some of you may have an aversion to this idea, I encourage you to be open, for you never know what may change your whole life. Because it did mine. Morning pages was the gateway to change, to understanding myself, to getting to know myself, to releasing and breathing. Morning pages allows you to empty the racing thoughts that are already running rampant in your mind before you are even aware of them. It wasn't until I started writing that I realized I even had that many thoughts that early in the morning. But taking part in this practice has single-handedly been one of the most transformative experiences for me and for many others in becoming aware of my thoughts and bringing my mind back to myself. I want to share a little excerpt from one of my morning pages a few years ago, and this really opened my eyes to how unaware we can really be of our own thoughts. The minute my eyes are open, I hear the ding of my phone, the passing of a car against the wet pavement outside, then the soft breathing of Ginger, my dog, who has now replaced Sean next to me in the bed. The day has begun. I lay here still in and out of sleep, trying to make a conscious or unconscious decision to either respond to the text or let sleep consume me again. I mean, it is quiet, dark, gloomy, and raining out. But I am energized at the impeccable timing of my husband, whose text miraculously came a millisecond after my eyes opened, that I couldn't pass up the chance to tell him that. Respond to a text, check the clock, check my Facebook notification, over to Instagram, put down the phone. Ginger stirs, so I pet her, reassuring her that I am here and that I still love her. Then my mind starts pumping out all of the flow of thoughts it's going to have today. And I remembered in that moment why morning pages are so important. When I go back and read my words, I think about how many thoughts had already traversed the terrain in my brain before I realized it was pumping in thoughts. I noticed I had written 2 paragraphs of thoughts before I was even aware I was having them. This has been the beauty of morning pages. Not only does it help to release the noise, but it also sheds perspective on our thoughts, our patterns, and our mindset, to see where we have been and where we are. This is how I personally began my journey to being whole-minded. It is not until we examine the process by which our minds travel that we will come to know their full capabilities. I encourage you to pick up a pen, grab a notebook, and start writing every morning, and let whatever falls out of your mind land on the page. Remember, our minds are our biggest competitor, but we must also remember that it is ours. It belongs to us, and we have the power to control it. We were designed with discernment, intuition, and the ability to renew our minds daily. We are not powerless over our thoughts. We have power in what and how we think, and we are powerful in what we do with the thoughts we have. Every week in this series, I have been sharing a reflection and reveal challenge for us to practice wholeness. And I invite you, if you will, to join me this week to practice living whole-minded. Ask yourself, where have I become a remnant of my mental self? Reflect on this, and then answer the following questions. Where am I letting someone else's voice override my own? Is my mind overcrowded with input? What truths am I living by right now? Are these mine? What would mental presence look and feel like for me? Now the reveal. I want you to take one whole week and write morning pages. Write down 3 pages of whatever flows from your mind. It can be anything from I don't like writing, to the dog needs to go out, to a song that just popped into your head. Absolutely anything. Do not judge your thoughts or your writing. It is nothing more than just your stream of thoughts. Sometimes they come together, but most of the time they don't. Upon waking, write. No matter your schedule, just whenever you wake up. Your own thoughts, your own mind will be thankful. Let it out of the crowded room and let it breathe. Just write. If you have any questions about today's reveal practice or morning pages, you may contact me at heather@theriskypath.com, and I will answer any questions that you may have if you are interested in learning more. I also will be hosting an Artist Way workshop starting in June for those who would like to join, and I will be posting more details about that on my website soon. Remember, being whole-minded brings us into wholeness, not leaving us living fragmented and in remnants. And when we are living in wholeness, we begin to live and see ourselves for who we truly are, who God created us to be, fully, freely, wholly. If you would like to journey deeper into being whole-minded, I have created a downloadable worksheet for each of the episodes in this series. You can go to my website, theriskypath.com, or you can download the link here in the show notes below. I want to thank you so much for joining me today on The Free Advantage. And for more tools, support, and inspiration, please visit my website, theriskypath.com. And if this episode resonated with you, please share it with someone who might need to hear this message. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and leave us a review. Your voice matters and helps us to grow and get our message out to more people just like you. Let's continue this journey to freedom together. And remember, freedom is the advantage you already own. Until next time.